So if you've been trading options, I'm sure that you know what is a naked put. And a naked put just consists in selling one put. That's why we call that a naked put, because there is no other option that you're buying or selling at the same time. But the question is, when do you actually need to sell a put? When is the good time to sell a put? And personally, I don't necessarily have a perfect answer because I don't really think that we can really time the market. However, there are some things that I'm personally looking at when trying to sell naked puts. And in this video, I wanted to show you an example so you can see how I trade, what are the things that I'm looking at before entering a trade. So hopefully if you also want to sell naked puts, you can do the same in your own portfolio. And this video is really to show you my thought process and why do I do the things I do. I don't pretend like I know necessarily everything, but this is the way I do it, and personally so far it has been working well for me. So I wanted to share it with you, so hopefully it's useful for some of you. So the stock that we'll be talking about in this video is Wells Fargo. And to fully understand why I sold a naked put on Wells Fargo, when did I do it, and what were the reasons why I did that, we need to jump into Tastyworks. So let's go into Tastyworks and let's see what Wells Fargo is about. So right now we are in the Tastyworks platform, and as you can see, we have the stock Wells Fargo on the chart. And what we can see is that over the last days, Wells Fargo has been dropping from, let's say, $50 per share, around $50 per share, to at its lowest $43 per share. And the thing is, when you sell a naked put, you are going to be bullish, because when you sell a put, you have a bullish exposure, meaning that you want ideally the stock to go up. However, selling a naked put is not only about the stock, because there are other things that you need to consider before selling options. Well, I'm sure that you must be familiar with the implied volatility, and I've been talking about the implied volatility a lot on this channel, so if you've been watching some of my videos, you must be familiar with the concept. However, if you're not, let me brief you very quickly on what is the implied volatility. The implied volatility represents the expected move for a stock. For example, let's say that you're trading a stock that is worth $100 per share, and we expect an implied volatility of 20%. Then in that case, it means that we're expecting a movement of $20, because 20% of $100 is $20, and we expect a movement of $20 either up or down, because the stock could either go up or down. And that's what the implied volatility is here for. It's going to indicate you the expected move for a stock over a certain period. But what's interesting with this, and what we usually notice over time, is that when a stock goes down, the implied volatility tends to go up. And what that means is that we tend to expect a bigger movement when the stock goes down, especially when the stock comes down very quickly. We tend to see the implied volatility rising very quickly. And to give you a very quick example, I looked up the chart for the VIX. The VIX is the implied volatility for the S&P 500. And I wanted to give you an example of how is that relationship between the stock price and the implied volatility. And what we can see, what we have in front of you, is the chart for between November 2019 and October 2020. And what we can see in the middle, you can see that the VIX rose from 16 to around 83. And this was when the COVID crash happened in March 2020. And as you can see, when the S&P 500, if we look at the S&P 500, we can see that when the SPY fell in March, like it went from 337 to 216, the VIX at the same time rose a lot. It rose from $16 per share to almost 83. And you can see that you have this negative correlation, meaning that when, in our example of the S&P 500, when the S&P went down very quickly, when it crashed, we can see that the implied volatility rose. We understand that there is this relationship where if a stock price drops very quickly, then you have the implied volatility going up very quickly, and vice versa. If we see a stock rising, then we tend to see the implied volatility going down. We understand that. However, why am I talking about this? Why is it important? Well, it's important because when you're trading options, you're not just trading based on the stock price. There are other factors coming into the option pricing that are going to affect the option price. And let me give you a very intuitive example, because I know that this can be complicated, but trust me, it's not really that complicated. It's more common sense, but you need first to really get a grasp on the subject, and then it's going to make sense. So let me give you an example. Let's imagine that tomorrow, you know that for sure that the S&P 500 is going to crash. You know for a fact that this is going to crash. You have insider information, whatever it is, like you know that this is going to crash. And you want to take advantage of that crash. In that case, you want to buy a put so as to have a bearish exposure on the S&P 500, and if it goes down, you're going to make money. But the thing is, if everyone knows that there's going to be a crash tomorrow, then in that case, everyone is going to buy puts. And what is going to happen to the put prices is that they're going to increase, because now there's so much demand to buy those those puts. And that's really the simple law of supply and demand. If there is more people willing to buy something, then the price of that asset or that good is going to increase. And that's why I'm talking about the implied volatility, because the implied volatility represents how many people are willing to trade something. And when you have a stock that is going down very quickly, then people are going to buy a lot of, for example, put options, which is going to increase the put prices because people are hedging their long stock portfolio. And think about it. If you have, like, let's say 100 shares coming back to Wells Fargo, let's say that you have 100 shares of Wells Fargo and you see that the stock price is going down very quickly and you want to hedge your portfolio so you don't lose a lot of money. In that case, buying a put on Wells Fargo could make sense. So you have a bearish exposure, you can make money on your put at the same time as having your long stock portfolio. So you can see where I'm going now. You can understand that as we're talking about the implied volatility and the put prices rising when the stock is falling, you can see why I'm interested in selling a naked put on Wells Fargo when the stock price is going down that much. Because if we look at the stock price for Wells Fargo, you can see that it went from $50 to $43 per share, as I said before. But what's even more interesting is that because the stock price went down, we can see the put prices increase a lot. And that's the implied volatility rising. You can really see the put prices increasing because the stock price is going down. And in that case, if you're willing to sell a naked put, then you're going to collect a way bigger credit, which means a lot more profit as an option seller. And one proof of that implied volatility rising when the stock price falls, you can look, for example, at the IV rank, and you can see that directly on TestyWorks. So you can see that below the stock price chart, you have this chart, and that chart is the IV rank. So for those who wouldn't know what the IV rank is, the IV rank is a tool that basically measures the level of implied volatility compared to what happened in the past year. And it's helping you know basically how expensive options are or how cheap they are based on the previous year's data. Meaning that if you have a very high IV rank, it means that the implied volatility is currently very high right now compared to what it was before. Hence, the option prices are at the almost all-time high in terms of prices compared to the past year's data. So you can see how useful the IV rank is because it's like a thermometer. It helps you know how expensive or how cheap option prices are for a particular stock. And what we can see for Wells Fargo, in the case of Wells Fargo, is that you can see that on August 30th, that's where Wells Fargo's stock started going down. And you can see that the IV rank started increasing as the stock went down. And you can see that, for example, the high was 35 for the IV rank, which is almost unmatched over the last year's data. And I'm sure that if we dezoom, not a lot of time actually the IV rank has been that high. So you can see that the high was there. So almost never, actually, the IV rank was almost at that high over the past year. So this is quite interesting now if you're willing to sell options on Wells Fargo, because the stock went down, the implied volatility rose, making option prices more expensive. So as an option seller, it's a great opportunity because you're selling a put at a better price than before, and you're selling a put that is even more expensive than before because of that implied volatility rising. Hence why I wanted to, finally, I'm talking about naked puts. Sorry about that long intro and trying to put things in context, but it's important to understand why we're doing things before just selling a naked put. That's why I was talking about this. So that's why when the stock went down, and I think I sold the naked put when it was around $44 per share, because there are several advantages to waiting for the stock price to go down before selling a naked put. The first advantage of selling a naked put and waiting for the stock to go down before selling it is that you're going to have, first of all, a better strike price. And in our case, my strike price is at $40 per share. So meaning that I sold my put, and if the stock goes below the $40 per share level, then in that case I'll be assigned. If it stays above before expiration, then in that case I'll make a profit. And this is an advantage because think about it. If you, for example, selling a put when the stock is around $50 per share, then you're not going to collect a big enough credit on the $40 strike because the stock is too high. So if you wait for the stock to go down, then in that case, you're going to have a better entry in terms of strike prices. And of course, there could always be the counter argument, like you don't know how far the stock is going to go down. And of course, that's the risk. That's always the risk. You never know how far a stock can go either up or down. But as an option seller, you need to also take opportunities when they're there, hence why I took it. And that leads me to talk about the second advantage, which is, as I said, the implied volatility. When you have like the stock going down like this, like quite quickly, you're going to have the implied volatility rising as we saw with the IV rank. Hence, you're selling more expensive options. There is more juice, there is more premium in those options, collecting more credit, making more profit for you as an option seller. And also a third advantage of naked puts in usually selling options in general is that you have also the time decay working for you, meaning that every day that passes, options lose a tiny bit of value. And when you're buying options, this time decay is hurting you because you want the option price to increase. However, as an option seller, it's actually quite advantageous, that time decay, because now you're getting paid on a daily basis. That value that options are losing on a daily basis, you're earning it. So that's quite nice to have the time decay working for you. And even if Wells Fargo doesn't come back up to $50 per share, it doesn't really matter. As long as it stays above my strike price, then I'm fine. I'm going to earn money and I'm going to be able to go into a profit and close my trade for a profit. But of course, you know, I hear the argument, it's easy to look in hindsight and, you know, see where were the opportunities. But in the end, you know, what is probably worth doing is having a watch list of stocks where you can actually monitor those and you can wait for example, if you like to sell naked puts, like in this example, you can monitor the stocks so as to wait when the stock are going down and you see this implied volatility rising. So you only focus on really the best opportunities available instead of just selling naked puts when actually you don't really have a business of selling naked puts there. Because the problem is, let's say that you're just not waiting for any opportunities, you're just selling naked puts randomly. Then let's imagine that you are selling a naked put when the stock is at $51 per share. Then in that case, you're selling a naked put when, you know, it's almost an all-time high, at least on the yearly chart. So it's not really advantageous to sell, for example, naked puts when the stock is really high. You better wait and monitor a watch list of stocks and wait for them to go down so you have a better entry in terms of strike price. You also have more implied volatility, so more premium, which means more profit. And in the end, you might take less trades, but the trades that you're going to take are usually going to be of better quality, bringing you more profit. And personally, I found that being selective on the opportunities was way better rather than trying to be engaged and trading for the sake of trading. It's way better to really make sure that when you trade, you have great implied volatility, you have a better entry in terms of strike prices, so you can put all the odds on your side. I hope that this video was interesting. I tried to show my thought process in how do I enter a naked put in terms of position, why do I sell a naked put in that example of Wells Fargo, and I wanted to show that not only you're going to have a better entry in terms of strike price, but also the implied volatility is also playing a lot, because what we're usually going to see is that the implied volatility is reverting to the mean, meaning that if you sell an option when the implied volatility is high, well, usually we tend to see the implied volatility going down, and the implied volatility is quite mean reverting. So that's really your advantage of selling options when the implied volatility is high, relatively speaking, because it's going to make you earn more money. If you have any questions or comments, just put it below. I'll be happy to answer any questions or comments that you might have. Please make good and informed decisions. I'll see you in the next video, and in the meantime, I wish you all the best.